I heard you this morning say that you plan to use the Brexit freedoms that the UK has now secured in full. Does that mean that you've given up on the idea of achieving equivalence for UK financial services? Has that ship sailed?
Europe is always going to be a close partner and ally of ours, and we're always going to be constructive in that relationship and remain available to answer any questions that they might have about that process, which we completed some time ago. But what I'm interested in doing is making sure that our financial services industry here in the UK is something that we can all and should be very proud about, because it creates jobs locally and prosperity nationally. And that's why today we published a roadmap to deliver our vision for a financial services industry that is more open, more competitive, more green, and more technologically advanced. And that's the exciting agenda that we're delivering.
Yes, and how will that roadmap stand up to the competition then, Chancellor? We saw that JP Morgan just this week opened a 6-story trading hub in Paris. The French finance minister said, thank you, Brexit, for that. London is still the biggest financial services hub in Europe, but that is being chipped away at. Does that concern you?
No, I think if you look at every survey that's being done, it still shows that the UK and London remains the premier destination for financial services. And that's because we have fantastic strengths here, but we're going to build on those strengths, not rest on our laurels. And the roadmap that we published today, I think, shows that London, the UK more generally, will be the most advanced place, the most exciting place for financial services anywhere in the world. We're going to be a leader in green finance. Just look today at the documents that we published around a green sovereign bond and a green retail bond, our plans to create a carbon offset market, just one of the many things we're doing to show leadership globally, create new markets here and new jobs.
You say you want to lead on green finance, but the green gilt you reference isn't coming until September. Some suggest that the UK is a little late to this particular party. How will the UK ensure that gilts stand out from the crowd?
Well, if you look at the framework document that we published yesterday, what it will show you is that this is probably the most ambitious green sovereign gilt issue of any major country in the world. It will certainly be the largest. There are some features about our reporting which are unique, and it will be done in parallel with a retail product. So ordinary savers can also participate in investing in green projects backed by the government, and that's something that I think no other country has done with the same robust framework behind it. Alongside that, we're creating a new carbon offset market here in the UK. So again, across the piece, we are demonstrating leadership. The last thing I'd add is we're also able to do that internationally. We've managed to persuade all our G7 allies to make climate disclosures mandatory across their economies over time, facilitating the flow of capital to the right places. It's a good example of the UK punching well above its weight and doing what we do best on financial services.
And thinking about financial services and representing them, you've been working hard, of course, with the OECD and the G7 on agreeing minimum taxation for many global businesses and industries. But you've been trying to craft an exemption for financial services. You said today that you don't want banks to pay any more in taxation. So have you managed to achieve an exemption for financial services?
Well, I won't comment on ongoing negotiations that we're having on the tax topic, but I just make the point that, again, this is something that I think we could all be enormously proud of. The UK showing international leadership on reforming the global tax system, an issue that was started being discussed almost a decade ago, and under our watch we've managed to bring people together at the G7 to agree a historic deal to make sure that the right companies pay the right tax in the right places. That's hugely important for the issue of fairness, and we're going to take that deal to the G20, and those discussions are ongoing, and I remain, as I said, hopeful that we can build a broad coalition around this idea.
The financial services sector, of course, watching the UK economy. We have 6% of the UK workforce, 2.4 million people, I think, still on furlough. Is it fair that businesses now have to pay more to contribute to those furlough costs, even though the UK government has delayed the full reopening of the UK economy?
Well, I think if you take a step back, what is happening here? Businesses are being asked to contribute just 10% alongside the taxpayer, on the other hand, who's paying 70% of their employees' wages. I think that's very reasonable and is in common with the way that most of these schemes work internationally, and they have been working that way for much longer than ours, which has been very generous in its approach. Again, this is only one part of our comprehensive financial support for businesses. I won't go into the full list of all the things we're doing now, but as regards performance in the jobs market, 1 million people came off furlough in the last month alone. I think we're doing a great job at getting people back to work, and the signs are very positive. So, I'm actually confident about the future.
Just finally, Chancellor, you say about going back to work. We're both here in the City of London. It's not as busy as it used to be pre-pandemic. Does it matter to you whether the city comes back physically, whether we all return to the office, or are you fine? Are you happy to see people working remotely for maybe part of the time?
Actually, today we had a slightly different Mansion House audience, and there were lots of young leaders, the next generation of financial services leaders in the audience, and I was speaking to them after the event. And you talk to all of them, they are all super excited to get back into the office on a more full-time basis, because they enjoy the training, the collaboration, the spontaneity, and the mentorship they get from being physically in the offices. And I think it's very important for young people at the start of their careers to have all those benefits. And I hope as we make progress towards our July 19th step and safely take that step, we can get the city humming back to life as we all want to see it.
Chancellor, thank you very much. Thanks for giving us your time today.
Thanks very much.